Hello and welcome to Chabot News for November 9th, 2022. My name is Diana and today we will be taking a look at the record low of new home buyers, Oklahoma City's new cops, all that and more coming up on Chabot News. More people across the U.S. are waiting longer to purchase a place to live. The number of first-time home buyers fell to an all-time low of 26% for the year-long period that ended this June. That's according to the National Association of Realtors 2022 report of all home sales. Officials there also say the average age for the first-time home buyer has gone up to 36 years old, 3 years older than the year before. Among the factors, researchers say, are a factor higher home prices, escalated interest rates, and a drop in consumer income. The parents of a 9-year-old girl are furious after their daughter was injured at Six Flags Magic Mountain after being struck in the face by a cell phone while riding a roller coaster. They are now demanding that the park take stronger action to prevent this from happening to anyone else. The new Wonder Woman coaster at Six Flags Magic Mountain promises 3,300 feet of thrill at speeds reaching nearly 60 miles an hour. For 9-year-old Kaya Krisberg, it was her first big coaster ride, and everything was exciting. I just saw a cell phone going up in the air, the young girl said. It kind of went slow motion and it just hit my head. At the end of the ride, Kaya's dad ran in her and was shocked to see the injury to his daughter's forehead, but also imagining how it could have been much worse. Fortunately, Kaya didn't need stitches, but her forehead is scarred. The Oklahoma City Zoo is celebrating the birth of 4 new lion cubs. Now they are asking for the public's help in naming them. 3 of the lion cubs are female and 1 is a male. Zookeepers are putting the potential names for the cubs into 3 groups. One group has traditional African names like Nima and Zahara. Another would honor the lioness mother, who has a Swahili name Dunia, which means earth. The third group pays tribute to the Sooner State, borrowing the names of Oklahoma cities like Ada and Shawnee. The public can vote on the OKC Zoo's website through Monday, with the winners to be announced Wednesday. Now to Stanley for South Entertainment News.
Thanks, Diana. 2 black radio hosts in Arizona could be a potential roadblock if Kanye West ever decides to sell his White Lives Matter t-shirts in the U.S. Ramsey Jha and Quentin Ward are hosts of the weekly racial justice radio show, Civic Cypher. They became the legal owners of the phrase's trademark for its use on clothing late last month. The hosts consider owning the trademark a responsibility that includes making sure it doesn't end up in the wrong hands. They didn't want anyone to potentially profit off of it. Ward said they agreed to take ownership of the trademark, quote, once it was clear that someone stood to gain significant profit from it, he said. The best case scenario is that no one is saying the phrase in the coming months. Actor Johnny Depp is set to appear in Rihanna's new Savage X Fenty fashion show, and it's sparking outline outrage and calls to boycott the singer's lingerie brand. Depp claims that he has been blacklisted by Hollywood amid his high-profile legal battle with his ex-wife, Amber Heard. He's already filmed his cameo in the Runway Extravaganza, which debuts on Amazon Prime's video on Wednesday. After news of Depp's involvement emerged, fans began calling for Rihanna to remove his scenes. On Twitter, users expressed their disapproval using the hashtag #DitchDepp. Some threatened to boycott the label. Other social media commenters questioned whether Depp could even make the final cut. Reps for Rihanna and Amazon did not immediately respond to requests for comments about the decision to cast Depp. Depp sued Heard for defamation after she said she's a survivor of domestic abuse in a Washington Post op-ed. She countersued him, and both were found liable for defamation. But the jury awarded significantly larger damages to Depp, who denies abusing her. That's all from me this week. Back to you, Diana.
Thanks, Stanley. A man was struck and killed by a vehicle while crossing a busy roadway in South San Jose early Wednesday, according to the police. The collision occurred at about 4:30 a.m. at the intersection of Almeda Expressway and Cherry Avenue, police said. Preliminary investigation showed that man was outside of a marked crosswalk as he crossed Cherry Avenue when a 2020 Hyundai South traveling westbound on Cherry struck him, police said. The victim was taken to a hospital where he later died, police said. The woman driving the South remained at the scene and was cooperating with the investigation. No alcohol or drug influence was suspected. The victim's identity was not immediately released, pending notification of family. It's the 58th traffic death on San Jose Street this year, the 30th involving a pedestrian, police said. No further details were immediately available. Here is Jonathan for this week's sports news.
Thanks, Diana. Many Hollywood celebrities are mourning the passing of Migos rapper Takeoff, whose real name is Kirshnik Ball. And the NBA stars are feeling the loss as well. LeBron James was asked to provide comments on the late rapper's passing on Sunday afternoon after the Los Angeles Lakers lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers 114-100 in LA. Unfortunately for James, his answer went viral for all the wrong reasons. James recounted that he'd been listening to Migos since his first year with the Heat, which can date back to 2010. You can ask any of my teammates back then who had no idea who Migos was. They're like cussing me out when I would play them throughout the weight room, throughout the locker room. I was like, I'm telling them, these guys are the next big thing, said James. There's only one thing that's the issue. Migos' first mixtape did not drop until August of 2011, which is summer of the following year that James speculated. Perhaps another celeb could slide by making this mistake. However, fans of LeBron James notice that he's been telling little white lies like this more and more, and our favorite gossipers couldn't wait to put him on blast on Twitter. Although Elon Musk may have purchased the company and laid off half his workers, you still can't fool Twitter with a comment like that. Everyone immediately knew that Migos was barely into their existence and had not released any music in 2010. Now, maybe LeBron James' memory is just a little bit off, and he really was listening to them back in the Heat in 2011 or 2012. Who knows? He might have even got some unreleased tracks, too. But this all goes to prove how much more we need to fact-check ourselves, because the receipts have already been printed. In other news, fast forward to 11 a.m. on Sunday morning, Dusty Baker woke up to find that he is now a manager of the 2022 World Series champion Houston Astros, and there is a downtown parade Monday to prove it. Baker's phone would not stop beeping as he turned on his cell phone. With well over 1,300 messages within the 30 minutes, which will take Baker weeks to answer, he is now exhausted. He didn't get to bed until after 2 in the morning after the family and friends celebration at Potenente, an Italian restaurant owned by the Astros owner Jim Crane. When he walked to his gray SUV, fans walking by shouted his name, asked for autographs and for pictures, and some simply wanted to shake his hand and thank him. Everybody wants to be with Dusty. All of Baker's closest homies were in attendance to help him turn up for this momentous occasion. There's nobody in baseball, maybe in the world, who has a more wide-ranging electric group of partners. Baker's ticket list for Saturday night's World Series clincher included everyone from a newspaper publisher, a former baseball owner, to a wine consultant, an attorney, a former 20-game winner, a fisherman, a school teacher, a sports network founder, a musician, a former troubled teenager, to a Las Vegas radio show host, and even Barack Obama and Snoop Dogg sent their congratulations. Now, back to you, Diana.
Thanks, Jonathan. Community college students in Hayward most impacted by the coronavirus pandemic have received $93,000 in direct aid and 200 Chromebooks since April 1st, with close to another $100,000 in donations to be distributed in advance of the fall semester. The Friends of Chabot College established its COVID-19 emergency student aid, appeal to assist with distance learning and to help those struggling to pay for basic needs, including food and rent. A lot of our students use our library to access Wi-Fi and expressed concern that they didn't know how to continue their courses without Wi-Fi or laptop, said Yoni Wu Craig, Executive Director of Institutional Advancement at Chabot. We are working to fill that gap and ensure our students have the resources to succeed and reach their educational goals in this ever-changing environment. The funds will continue to be allocated to undocumented, international, and other enrolled Chabot students who are ineligible for CASES Act aid. A $500,000 mental health grant goes to Chabot La Spasita students. The money will bolster mental health counseling, advocacy, recovery, and emotional support efforts. It's estimated that as many as 1 in 4 students has a diagnosable mental illness, but as many as 40% of those students are not currently seeking mental health services. Addressing student mental health leads to greater learning outcomes, fewer instances of homelessness, and a reduction in suicide rate, which claim more than 1,100 lives every year. With demands for mental health services on the rise, CLP-CCD submitted a joint application to support expanding direct mental health services for students, professional development, and mental health first aid training. The district's submission was one of 16 funded proposals. That's all for Chabot News this week. Thanks to all the students and staff in the Mass Communication Department here at Chabot College for making this production possible. You can watch us anytime online at youtube.com/ChabotTV. Stay tuned to KCTA Channel 27 for more Chabot TV.